Hey everybody, Jordan Schwartz with Strategic Wealth Designers, and today we've got a razzle dazzle for you. We're talking about if you're 60 years old, can you retire with $500,000? Okay, so you're 60 years old, you're sick and tired of working, you've been grinding and busting and going for 30, 40 years and you want to retire, but you're not sure if you can. I got some math for you that's going to help you know whether or not you can do it. Couple of things we got to throw into the equation. First and foremost is Social Security. Are you going to get it? And do you have a spouse? So let's say your name is Bob and you're married. Let's say, as an example, Bob at 62 years old, because again, you don't get Social Security until you're 62. At 62 years old, let's say you get $1,500 a month. Let's say your wife, Jane, is also 62. You're the exact same age, you were born on the same day, and she gets $1,700 a month. Do some math. $3,200 a month is how much you bring in from those fixed income sources. Now, another thing you may have, maybe you've got a pension, and that pension brings in, let's say, I don't know, $1,000 a month. Well, if we look at that math for a second, that's $4,200 a month. So the big variable is if you want to retire at 60 with $500,000, you got to know these numbers first and foremost. Then what we have to do is we have to figure out how much money can we generate from our investments to make sure we safely and sustainably don't run out of money. Now that number is what's called a burn rate, right? Burn rate. That's the percentage of money you can safely and sustainably withdraw from your investments and know you're not going to run out of money. So what's a good rate? We like to oftentimes use 5%. It's a pretty safe assumption. You could say your investment should grow at about 5%, and then you're only withdrawing from growth, maybe occasionally a little bit of principal. So if we take that 500K number, we multiply that by 5%, that equals $25,000. That means you could generate from your investments $25,000, not really run the risk of running out of money. Now, if we go into the equation, maybe you don't care about leaving a legacy, because this is going to be mostly a growth-only withdrawal. What you could potentially do is draw that down a little bit faster. Maybe you could even look at a 7% return. You don't want to start pulling out 10 or 15% at a time, because then you run out of money quickly. But what we have to do is we basically solve for income. If you have a number right here, let's call this X. And that number is basically how much money do I need per month to maintain my lifestyle. We basically just subtract X minus Y. Let's call this entire combination right here Y equals retirement. Do you like my math? So X minus Y equals retirement. What's X? X is how much money you need per month. So let's say, as an example, this person right here needs, or let's do it as a year. Let's say that somebody needs $50,000 a year. Well, if we think about it as an example, Y right here, this is $25,000. So we subtract 50 from 25,000, then we have to subtract that 4,200 by 12. And that number is about $50,000. So if we look at this as an example, I just plugged in our numbers here. You're going to generate $50,000 a year from all these sources. You're going to generate $25,000 a year from all these sources. Basically, what that means is you ultimately end up with a $25,000 surplus. Now let's look at some different math for a second. Let's say, as an example, you don't get the pension and maybe it's just you. You need to know how much money do you need per month to maintain your lifestyle. Well, if that's going to generate us $25,000 a year from our investments, all we need to know is how much money do we need to maintain our lifestyle. Want to keep the math really, really simple. Obviously, we're not including inflation here, healthcare, but the whole hinge that swings the door open is how much money do you need per month to maintain the rest of your lifestyle. If you'd like more videos just like this, give us a like below, subscribe. We'd love to share some more with you.